Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Word Origins 104. The word origin today is ring true. Okay, let's take a look at the note here. If someone says that something rings true, it sounds like it is true, honest, or authentic. We can also say the opposite, that something rings false or hollow. If something rings false or hollow, it seems to be inauthentic or untrue, or maybe even deceptive. All right, let's continue. The origin of this phrase comes from the Middle Ages. At that time, real money was considered to be gold and silver coins. Some coins were not made with the proper mixture and amounts of precious metals. Yeah, somebody was trying to cheat somebody by making maybe a coin with, less pure metals. Thus, if someone were questionable about a coin, the best way to test it was to drop it on a stone slab and listen to the sound. Yeah, this is true, and a lot of Americans or older Americans know this because before 1964, 64 and earlier, U.S. coins like dimes and quarters in the U.S. or 50-cent pieces, they used to be made with 90% silver, and after they changed over, they took all the silver out. Most Americans know when you drop the coin, it made a very different sound. You could definitely hear a higher pitch ring when it was 90% silver. All right, so that's one way that you really know that this is true about the sound. All right, let's continue. There is a clear difference in sound. If it sounded right, it was said to ring true. All right, and was considered to be authentic. So this is how this term was actually born. This is how it came into existence. Even today, some precious metal coins are sometimes counterfeited with cheaper metals, but the appearance of the coin could look almost perfect. Yeah, maybe they will, plate it with the real, like silver or gold, but inside is not. But checking the sound of the ring it makes when dropped could also help to determine if it was real or not. Yeah, I've seen some experts do this where they were looking at the coin. They asked them, could you tell the difference? And they look perfectly, perfect as far as the appearance is concerned, but dropping it made a different sound, and he was able to pick out the real one and know the false one just by the sound it makes. So even today, maybe it could ring true, and you might be able to figure out which one was real and which one was not. All right, and we have 4 examples of the way that we use this phrase today. All right, here's number 1. There is something about his story that doesn't ring true. Maybe you're questionable about his story. Some of it doesn't make sense. Something seems wrong with it. Or number 2 here, you could say their alibi rings true, even though, to be honest, this is one of the ones I think we hear in the negative more. We say that something doesn't ring true. But you could hear that something rings true, like, yeah, it sounds right, it sounds believable, it sounds possible. Or number 3 here, there are several things about his theory which rings false. So we could use the opposite. I don't hear the opposite as much. I would probably hear doesn't ring true more often than rings false, but you could hear that something rings false as well. And we just have one example with hollow too. I know he said he was sorry, but his words ring hollow, or his words rang hollow. Maybe they didn't. Maybe he said the words "I'm sorry," but somehow maybe his facial expression and the way he said it didn't really sound like he was really truly sorry. Okay. Well, anyway, I hope you got it. I hope you found it informative. You found it interesting. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.